Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. My name is Kristin. I'm an American in Europe and a fine art destination wedding and love story photographer. In today's video, I want to share with you details to make sure that your photographer captures on your wedding day. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, but it's just the top things that I always make sure to capture for my couples, and they're the things that you should make sure your photographer captures as well. So let's dive right in. So first things first, make sure your photographer captures a ring shot. Now, it's always nice to have professional photos taken of your wedding rings because it really helps you remember them and it showcases their beauty. So when I first arrive on a wedding day, I always start with details, and that's when I get the ring shot in. So make sure you ask your photographer when they do that so that you make sure you can have that in your final gallery of photos. Next up is the invitation suite. Now this I would also photograph right with the rings when I do the rings, because then I also include the rings in some of the invitation suite layouts. And the reason I love doing the invitation suite is because, again, that's something you think about a lot and then you send out and it's easy to sort of forget about, but it does go into the overall story of your day, and it's a wonderful thing to have photographed. So if you can, make sure to pick out a really nice one that still looks really beautiful and set it aside for the photographer so that as soon as they arrive, they can capture it beautifully and make sure to provide that to you for your final gallery. The third thing to make sure your photographer captures on your wedding day are all of your accessories as a couple. So that's all the jewelry, any hair pieces, watch, bow tie or tie, all those pieces that you'll be wearing. Also set those aside so that your photographer can capture them as soon as they get there. I always try to also get portraits that really feature those items on you when you're wearing them, but it's always nicer and it's a bonus to also have them styled beautifully with other elements from your wedding day. It just helps you remember them all the more. Okay, next up is have your photographer photograph the bouquet alone. Now this can either be on a flat surface, or it could be on a windowsill or a chair or something else at your venue, but it's a really great way to capture the beauty of your bouquet before it starts getting squished or fading and wilting as the day goes on. And of course you'll have photos of it while you're holding it, but it's always nice to have one that just captures the beautiful bouquet. Okay, and on that note, also make sure you have the boutonniere captured as well. And oftentimes the groom will have a different boutonniere than the groomsmen, so it's nice to kind of have them all captured together in one shot so you can see them all together. But the reason I tell you to make sure to do this is because really quickly throughout a wedding day, they become very flat after you give lots of hugs, and they really wilt and fade quickly. So make sure you get them styled beautifully and photographed so that you can remember those as well. All the details so far that I've mentioned, I capture in the first 30 minutes to an hour of a wedding day, and I do it all in one place so that I make sure to capture all those details. But I also make sure to get some of the quote bigger details. For example, the location is a really big one. Make sure you check with your photographer and make sure that you'll be getting lots of photos of the venue and the location at which you're getting married. It's a really important, beautiful place to remember, and so it's nice to have all those wide shots, but even the detail shots of all the architectural details, especially for those destination couples, is really important. So make sure you check with your photographer and make sure you'll be getting those. Next tip is, ladies, make sure you ask the photographer to capture close-ups of your makeup and your hair, especially from the back. Again, it's something that your hairstylist and makeup artist has spent a lot of time on, and you've spent time thinking about the best option, the best look for you. So make sure you get those photos, especially the one from the back is often one that's forgotten. Next up, make sure you talk to your photographer about capturing the ceremony and reception space before guests arrive there. So when you're in the final weeks planning for your wedding and you're talking timeline with your planner and photographer, make sure you have the photographer arrive a little bit early at the ceremony space and a little bit early at the reception. And that will allow them time to capture the beauty of it before guests arrive and there are purses sitting on the table or people in the pews or whatever it is. But it's nice to have those photos when the room is empty, because then you can remember all the beautiful details and decor that you took so much time planning for. So make sure to talk to your photographer about working that into the timeline. And last but not least, make sure you take time to think about details that are unique to you. So every couple is different. Every couple has important aspects of their story. So think about things that you might want captured on your wedding day. Maybe it's a special table you have set up to commemorate someone, or maybe it's an heirloom piece. For example, I used my grandmother's clutch on my wedding day and I wanted to make sure that that was photographed. So make sure you take the time to think through all those pieces and then write your photographer a note to make sure that they'll capture that and that they'll give that to you as a piece of your gallery to remember your wedding day. Well, there you go. Now, of course, this is not an exhaustive list. There are plenty more details that I always make sure to capture at my couple's wedding days, but this is just a list of things to really make sure you ask your photographer about, ask them what kind of details they normally capture, or ask to see a sample gallery, because it'll give you a good idea of your photographer's eye for things and all the details that they'll make sure to capture for you. So I hope you found this helpful, and thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.